Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Cutting Edge podcast, hosted by myself, Jason Bryant from Landell. And I'm delighted to say that today my guest is Paul Savill from Antalis. Paul, over to you. Could you just introduce yourself, your role, and maybe a little bit about Antalis, please?
Yeah, Jason, thank you. And thank you very much for the invitation today. As you said, my name is Paul Savill. I'm product manager for office and digital papers for Antalis. So my job is really threefold. First and foremost, it's to ensure that we are promoting our products to not only our office, but also our commercial print customers, making sure that our products are relevant to the market and are readily available. Secondly, to make sure that any new product development is put front and center of our offering, and also to make sure that we are right on point when it comes to sustainability and sourcing the right product for the right customer for the right reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, mate. Yeah, go ahead.
No, as part of Antalis, I mean, we're a European-based company with our headquarters in Paris, with our UK headquarters in Colville in Leicestershire, and we're part of the KPP group, the KSA Pulp and Paper, and have been since 2020. As an organisation, we operate in 30 countries, and we're one of the largest distributors of product within our market sector. We offer a wide array of products and services to the print, the packaging, and the visual communications industries.
Yeah, wonderful, mate. And I've worked with yourselves for many years in terms of, I could list a whole load of people's names and contacts that I've had over the years. And I have to say that the level of service and the support that I get from yourselves at Antalis is second to none. And obviously with the recent meeting up at your head office in Colville, as a business, we know there's kind of another collaboration in the background that's happening between ourselves and the two businesses at the moment. What I was just going to say at the start, if it's okay, when I talk about the support that we receive, we are actually hosting an event later this year in November. It's a 6-day event. It's for VIPs. There are going to be certain people that are specifically that are targeted customers that we'd really like to get across for us to talk about that whole sort of print ecosystem. Antalis, you're supporting us at that event, and I just wanted to mention to some of the listeners and those people that are watching, that should they receive the ticket to that event, then obviously I'll be delighted to see them later this year. Just to touch on, you've mentioned, I mean, clearly the size of Antalis as an organisation is vast. You just mentioned where you globally sort of where you are. In terms of the types of substrates, I'm assuming also that's vast. Would you be able to give us any more info on the numbers?
Yeah, of course. I mean, and I think previous to the call, we sort of chatting about how many substrates we have, and I haven't got enough fingers and toes to even start that. But really, we break our products down into categories. We have our office, our packaging, our viscom, and print. Now, in terms of print, we cover the traditional kind of offset market as well, with the coated and uncoated papers. We also cover a wider range of digital substrates. Digital is very much the growth area of our business, whether it be coated or uncoated papers, synthetics, which are very, very popular these days, are some of the self-adhesives or some of the more creative products that again are becoming ever more popular with digital printers and their customers.
Yeah, and it's exactly those. I'm glad you mentioned that. So the invitation to this event that we're going to be hosting will be on one of those creative stocks, I'm sure. And it's something that I talk about with my customers all the time. What can we do to add value back into the product that's being sold when we're talking specifically about commercial printers? So, I really do appreciate you mentioning that. So like those creative papers, I think there's another sort of sample set and site setter, if you like, that's going to be coming out later this year, being produced on many of the different manufacturers of the digital technologies, which is great. Obviously, have to mention again, being multi-branded and independent, that's important to ourselves. And you mentioned at the start something which I'd like to kind of get into now. So you mentioned sustainability. That's a key thing, obviously, in today's world. And so in terms of sustainability, is there any sort of key programs that Antalis are part of that have got their own? And would you be able to elaborate?
Yeah, there is. I mean, sustainability is quite a broad subject, and for us, I think a lot of the challenge is to make that messaging succinct. We can all look at logos on products, whether it be, this product is sustainable. This product, has come from areas of protected woodland, and there's a great, and we see the very, very strong ones such as FSC, PEFC, Eco-Label, and perhaps some of the more kind of modern ones, up-to-date ones, such as the cradle-to-cradle certification coming through. But some of that can be quite confusing to the onlooker, so to speak. So what Antalis have done, we've developed something of our own called the Green Star system. Now that covers our papers, our Viscom, and our packaging items. And effectively, what it does, Jason, it gives our customers a one-glance opportunity to have a look about how environmentally we rate our products. And it's an exceptionally simple scale. It works like on an old school X and Y axis. Across the bottom of the axis is your manufacturing process. So the more we know about the manufacturing process, the higher a profile we can give it. And also on the upward axis, what we are able to do is look at the where the pulp has come from. So something if it's PFC or FSC, if it's recycled. So if you remember the old game of sort of battleships, what you can do is go along this axis, and the more we can tell you about the products, the higher the star rating we can give it. So for instance, let's say that there is a product that is both eco-label and FSC certified. If you went along the screen, that would give you 4 out of 5 stars. That's a very, very high rating for our product. In fact, we're quite particular about how we rate our products. So we've said that only products that are from virgin fiber can attain a 4-star rating. Anything above there, it must be recycled. So beyond that, for a product to gain a 5-star, it would have to be fully recycled, and we would have to have various certifications. Now, the easiest way to look at this is anytime you buy an Antalis brand, either it be the Image or the Xerox brand, the Green Star messaging will be on that packaging. It'll give you a star rating. If not, it's very, very easy to see our rating on our website. And you mentioned earlier about the creatives as being part of our marketing collateral. Our key lead in terms of collateral is something called the Digibox, which has gone out to many, many digital customers who have identified pieces of kit that are, production presses, etc. And within that, all of our digital substrates are not only printed on OEM technology, the Green Star rating for each product is in there. So at a glance, not only the printer, but the print customer can have a look and identify which one of those products has the highest profile.
Yeah, and I think that's a real key message. And if I go back to something you said at the start, unfortunately, yes, I am old enough to remember the game Battleships. But also, if we touch on the fact that the ratings, would you say there's been a noticeable trend and an increase in customers selecting those papers that are rated with your 4 and 5 stars?
I believe so. I think it's important to say that where possible, we would want to put an FSC or a PEFC rating on our product. We continue to develop our products along that line, and particularly with other additions coming along, such as the eco label. So I think the real answer to that is, Jason, that a lot of our products are already there. So it's not necessarily that customers have made a conscious decision to pick the 4-star. It's our selection is so broad, right. It really helps the customer make that call. So what we're saying is we give this product a very, very high rating. We're making it very easy for you to be able to verbalize that and be able to demonstrate that to your customer. And of course, your account manager will be able to offer support as well. We can offer technical data sheets, etc., and supporting evidence to suggest why we've given that product the rating we have.
Which yeah, and that's great. And I have to say that the level of support that I get from the account managers as a team, which is growing. It's we've got various account managers now across the length and breadth of the UK. So not only do we, I just want to touch on it again, do we partner with all of the manufacturers, but we do cover the whole of the UK as well. So wherever you are in the country, please feel free. My contact details, as always, will be at the end of the podcast. There's a couple of schemes that you and I have spoken about previously. I'd just like you to perhaps give the listeners and the viewers a little bit more info on that. So I think it was the Forest Carbon Trust and the Woodland Trust. Were they the two that am I right in saying?
Not the Woodland Trust, the World Land Trust. But yes, you are correct. What we've done, we've partnered and given our customers the opportunity to balance the inevitable carbon releases that come with paper manufacture and transportation. And we use 2 schemes. You're quite correct. One of them is the Forest Carbon Trust, and their kind of unique selling point is they create new woodland within the UK using indigenous species where there wasn't previously woodland. And of course, this then creates living, breathing forests, more carbon capture and carbon sinking, and also an opportunity for the development of flora and fauna, but also for people to enjoy in terms of leisure facilities, walking through the forest, etc., and maybe even as well offering employment opportunities for people that work to maintain those forests.
So it's not just about actually the trust. You're creating benefits to the local economies as well then.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not necessarily our scheme. It's something that we've partnered with, but we work very closely with. And if you have a look at their website, they've got some fantastic details in there. I mean, like I said, they're creating new forests in the UK all the time, and as such, a really good and easy to understand scheme when it comes to carbon balancing. You're investing in your carbon purchase through Antalis, and we then convert this into new areas of woodland. And the really great thing for the customer is that we can actually provide evidence for them. So if you're a printer or a reseller that wants to either demonstrate to their customers their contribution they're making, or indeed if it's a prerequisite of a print customer to have their carbon balanced, we can actually provide certification and evidence to say how much carbon has been balanced, how much new woodland has been created, and again, really great thing to show your customers and to demonstrate your commitment to environmental schemes. The other scheme, of course, is something through what we call the World Land Trust, and it's slightly different to the Forest Carbon Trust. As I mentioned earlier, that was a tree planting scheme. This is more of a tree preservation scheme, and it tends to focus on areas of outstanding biodiversity and areas that are at risk, typically in countries that sit outside the Kyoto Agreement. Now, the benefit of this is that we retain those forests in perpetuity, and the flora, the fauna, and of course the indigenous peoples within are protected. This is backed up by some heavy hitters in the shape of Sir David Attenborough, who is a patron to the organisation. And again, very much in the same way, your printer or reseller can engage with Antalis to balance the carbon from their print job or their paper purchase to ensure that those contributions go to protecting that woodland and that forestry in perpetuity.
Yeah, and so apologies when I said about sort of that you're helping to create those things, but certainly supporting things like those opportunities for those areas, etc. Listen, you're the expert, Paul. I'd like to just ask you a quick question, which is going to be quite pertinent to me, to the viewers, the listeners as well. What do you see the trends being in the sort of the paper world, if you like, and in terms of the choices of paper over the coming years, months and years, particularly for those commercial printers?
Yeah, I think the first thing to recognise is that there is a move towards digital, and also to understand that the print market is a fantastically creative market, and it's always on the move. I mean, we saw at Drupa recently huge advances in technology. It was a fantastically well attended event, and in terms of creativity, really the sky is the limit. Technology is coming on board to really release the power, the creativity that's held within the kind of the graphic arts market, so to speak.
Yeah.
Sustainability will always be a key one. Yeah, and rightly so. We are all switched on now to sustainability. We want to make sure that our environmental impact is as minimal as possible, whilst getting a great result from our final print. What we're also seeing is the growth of need for new and different substrates. Customer trends change, and as such, people want something that's a different color, a different finish. They want something that's going to give their print a real wow factor. And fortunately, we're able to help our digital printers do that through this new selection of digital creative papers that are coming through. And again, as we say, digital is the growth area. It's a fantastic creative area. And Antalis and our account managers, we're here to help our commercial print partners do what they do, but just a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I think back to that time not so long ago, and I tend to mention it on all the podcasts, but when I look at COVID and all of a sudden the trends that changed, all of the floors, doors, and windows, people trying to have substrates that they can stick on those sort of environments, which obviously changed the markets for that period.
And we still do them. We have a range of floor adhesives, and I think, as you rightly say, people through COVID were putting them on floors everywhere. But let's not forget, Jason, now that everyone walks around looking at the floor on their phones. What a great place to put a marketing message or a directing message. It's kind of space that perhaps hasn't been utilised as well as it could have done before. And again, at Drupa, fantastic. Several of the OEMs had kind of lines and marks and arrows on the floor just to capture that person's attention when perhaps their mind was elsewhere, perhaps on a work email or on their social media.
You're absolutely right. And as a father of two, it frustrates the life out of me, particularly when the children are getting towards a crossing on the road, etc. But look, that's the way of the world that we live in today. So listen, want to close off unless there's anything else that you wanted to share with me at all, Paul?
I mean, really, it's just that Antalis is a business. I've said it before, but we're really here to help. We have fantastic account managers and a fantastic product range. We have a digital team that can support whatever the challenge is, whatever the need is. Please, give us an opportunity to come and help you. We'll do it on a consultative basis and make sure that we're helping you create the right finished result on the right product using the right technology at the right time.
Yeah, and don't forget, like I said at the start, there are going to be some of these viewers and listeners who will be the lucky ones that are invited up to the event that we're hosting, which is going to show them how we work in collaboration collectively with manufacturers of hardware, finishing equipment, yourselves, to help them to drive their own profits. So yeah, we hopefully will be seeing some of those at the event. And finally, the last thing from me, Paul, is to say thank you ever so much. Really do appreciate you joining us in the latest iteration of the Cutting Edge podcast. And thank you for all the support that you give us, yourself and the rest of the team at Antalis. Thanks ever so much, mate.
It's our pleasure, Jason. Thank you for your time.
Cheers.